there's, as Luke has mentioned, there's a load of resources, there's a whole lot of information coming to you today. I guess I'm here just to give you a flavour of, if you're the sort of Model 3 user that I am, which is actually, I'm not a real car person and I'm not a really techie person, you don't need to be. You absolutely don't need to be. These cars are just really lovely to drive. So there's a whole lot more detail that if you want to, you can get into, and it's fantastic, but it's a bit like your mobile phone. Some people use their phone to take a call and send a text and maybe send a photo, and other people can, program a rocket ship to NASA on their phone. Same thing with the car. Alright, okay. So, and how do I go back?
Arrows.
So in terms of the way I bought the car to save the world. I'm quite passionate about the environment, to save money, which I'm really enjoying now, particularly where the price of the fuel are, and to have fun. It's a fun car to drive. And the kids will also tell you it's a fun car to be a kid in. It's so much easier to get the kids in the car in the mornings now. So who am I? I'm a proud mum of those two. I've owned the car since November. We've done over 11,000 kilometres in the car. I was really lucky. I ordered the car, and then the minute that I ordered it with the kids, we decided what colour. We were getting white on white. The minute I did that, then a number of second-hand models became available to me. So I ended up buying a second-hand one that had a bit over 1,500 Ks on it, and I ended up with a blue one with black seats. So Joshua was pretty upset because he wanted the white seats, but he's coping. We've done a lot of driving already. We've driven to Tamworth, which is where my family are from. We've driven to Rockhampton, to Warwick, to Coffs. Luke and I have also driven to Falls Creek with my Subaru and his car, and Adelaide, and I'm a TOCA member. And done all of that with not really being a car person and not really understanding half of the functionality of the car. So I've sort of talked to this. This is why I bought it, to save the environment for the lower running costs, because I wanted a practical, safe, reliable car because of who I am and my beautiful children that are in the car with me a lot. As far as I could tell, it's the best value for money Model 3 around. I was also kind of keen to get rid of my ICE car before I think those prices sort of dropped, so that was another reason I sold. I love my Subaru, it was a great car, but thought it was a good time to sell, and the kids love it. And kids are pretty popular at school because their mum's got this car as well. And there's heaps of space in the car, so it's just a really sort of handy tool to have around. How I charge it, there's my car in the driveway. There's my charger that Aaron put in. Cannot recommend Aaron and his team enough, they're lovely. And they also do a whole range of other electrical work, so I have PowerPoints put in and a whole range of other things that I just needed doing at the same time. So I normally charge it at home or at work. My work has just moved and we've now got solar panels on the roof at work and 2 chargers there. So my habit is to charge the car when the sun's shining. Sometimes I break that rule, but either way, I'm 100% green at either of those places. So most of the time I'm charging at home. So my total power bill at the moment is about $25 a week. I used to pay like $80, $100 a week on fuel, so I'm completely wrapped. And then for road trips, I use the Tesla superchargers and I use PlugShare, the PlugShare app to find all of the other ones. And I also use normal PowerPoints. I won't go into a lot of the charging because that's coming later, but I guess the key thing is charging's easy, and I sort of won't know names, but I know someone in this room who doesn't even have a fancy charger at home. They literally just have a PowerPoint, they plug their car into the PowerPoint and they've never used a charger outside. So there's a whole range of things you can do around charging, but it's all extra and optional and you absolutely don't need to.
They don't come with the new ones now?
They do. In Australia.
So in terms of what I've spent extra on the car, I just thought this might be helpful for new owners to think about, what do I need? You don't need all of this, but these are the bits that I've found helpful for me. I've got the wall connector. I happened to pick that up secondhand as well, so that was nice, and the install. So that was a bit over $1,000. All weather mats, cannot recommend them enough. They are fantastic. And you can literally just pull them out and hose them down, and they protect the carpet, and they're probably the best accessory that I've bought with the car. You can also get them for the front and the trunk, but it's mainly inside the car that they are just a godsend, particularly when it's been raining and raining and raining lately. A front kit, so that you don't have to use your hands to shut the front, I'm glad that I had that put in. Tow bar kit, I bought it, but it hasn't been put in yet because the lovely Luke just hasn't had time to do that for me. I've bought it because we like to cycle, and so I need something to cart my bikes around. So once the tow bar's on, I probably won't tow much. Luke tows a trailer behind that one, but I'll use mine so that I can cart my bikes around and the kids' bikes around. I put personalised plates. Oh, and just a point about the tow kit. TOCA and Luke in particular pretty much worked through the specs to have that tow kit authorised in Australia. So that's sort of an example of some of the things that TOCA do they're kind of cool. I have personalised plates on the car because I just personally think that the cars are so pretty, and the Queensland plates on a pretty car just don't do the cars justice, so I bought personalised plates. I've bought a Type 2 charging cable. I've never used it, but I've bought it just in case I do go on a trip where the charging network isn't that flash. I'll just throw it in the car. And roof racks are still on my shopping list, but I haven't bought them yet. So about $5,000 in extras I've spent, which is equivalent to about what I would have spent for petrol a year. So I'm happy about that. And in terms of insurance, I was delighted. I was kind of expecting I'd have to pay a lot more because I went from a Forester to this car, and $88 was the extra that I ended up paying. So I was pretty wrapped with that. Things to be aware of. Sometimes it makes funny noises. And what I mean by funny noises is, the car will be in sleep mode, you're not there, but it'll just sort of start chugging away and doing things. And that's all fine. It's just, it's doing maintenance, and it's meant to happen. When my father heard it, he was most upset and thought there was something wrong with the car and was carrying on like a pork chop. It's fine, it's normal. The upgrades are really easy and really cool. So just the app on your phone will tell you, and the car will tell you when there's an upgrade. Obviously, you can't drive the car, won't let you drive the car when the upgrade's happening. They normally only take 20 minutes, and then it'll tell you what's changed, and sometimes it's nothing, and sometimes it's really fun stuff. And if it's a little bit more, if it's a big change, there'll be an absolute outrage. It'll go mad on all the Tesla chats and things, because some people are really passionate about what changes and get very upset. If the screen goes blank, when you can reset it. I've put that there not to freak people out. It's only happened to me once, but it's good to know that it is just sometimes a thing. It doesn't mean the car stops driving. It doesn't mean the blinkers stop working. It just means all of a sudden your navigation's gone, and you can hold down the two buttons and reset it while you're driving, and then it'll just reset itself and it's all fine. So don't freak out. Doesn't happen very often at all, but now that you've heard that it can happen, it's not a big deal. Same with fast chargers. I've a couple of times gone to chargers and they've not worked, which is a bit disconcerting. But I've subsequently learnt there's a big red button or a green button or a blue button, depending upon which one you're on. You just pull it or push it or twist it, whichever type it is, and it will reset, and I found that works a treat. And I'd say the only thing I really don't love about the car is the seats are really sweaty, so I often pack a towel. I've been looking for the ideal, seat cover, but I haven't found them yet, so I just often have a towel in the car. When I'm wearing jeans, it's fine, but if I'm wearing shorts, it is not fine. My favourite things about the car. Camp mode is fantastic. That means you can safely leave your children in the car when you run into the shop or whatever, and they are in air-conditioned comfort, and no one can get in. So camp mode is fabulous. Aircon before you drive is also fantastic. So if your car's in somewhere that it's hot or it's very, very, very cold, you can just, with your phone, turn the aircon on so that by the time you go to drive away, the car's nice and comfy. Navigation. I'm a convert to navigation. I never used to use navigation that much. I use it all the time now because roads change, and particularly if you're running a little bit low on charge, it'll tell you if you need to stop. It's really easy. Again, I know there's someone in this room that didn't know how to use the navigation in their Model 3. It's super easy. I thoroughly recommend learning how to use it, not hard. It's literally just, tap the screen and type in or talk to where you want to go and off you go.
So it takes you up the wrong bloody road.
Very infrequently, I would say the benefits far outweigh the occasional hiccup.
I thought I might have pressed the wrong thing when I was selecting it. No. Pine Forest Road at Armadale. I know it well.
I'd suggest that's an outlier event. Autopilot, again, I really advocate for autopilot. It's fantastic. It doesn't work that well if you're turning lots in tiny little suburban streets, but most of the time, if you're on more major roads, autopilot's fantastic, particularly when you're going on a long trip. You just sort of collaboratively drive with the car. It helps you not get speeding tickets. It's just it's a really great feature. The games and YouTube and Spotify are fantastic. The entertainment in the car is great. As I say, for the kids, it is absolutely fantastic. Karaoke's also really fun. I don't know if you guys have played that, but Luke and I were at a concert a few weeks ago, and it would been really fun, and I might have had a few drinks, and on the way back I might have played karaoke all the way home. So karaoke's super fun. Rainbow Road, I don't know if you found that, the kids found that in the car. It's one, if you press the stick on the right 3 times, this ridiculous music will come up and the screen changes, and it's just funny. So I wouldn't advocate doing it if you're on a stressful timeline. Yeah, try it out in a place where you don't, where you can be distracted a bit, but it's funny. And the driver profiles. If two or more people are driving the car, you can program who's driving the car, and that's really handy because you then don't have to get in and change the seat and the steering wheel and what have you. You just say, I'm driving, or Luke's driving, or whoever's driving in the car will just move. So they're my favourite features. Road tripping. My advice, as I said, I've done quite a lot of road tripping, and it's fantastic. It's just a mindset thing. When you drive an ICE car, obviously there are a lot more petrol stations that you can just sort of stop whenever you want. With an electric vehicle, there are power points everywhere, but some of them are very slow. So just plan to charge over lunch stops and rest stops. And typically, I've always found that the car will be ready before you are, so be careful that you don't end up getting charged for being on the chargers too long.
About 50 minutes.
Yeah, just charge over lunch and rest stops. Book hotels that have chargers, or ring up hotels and ask them if you can organise a PowerPoint, and they're always very accommodating. Use PlugShare and have all the other charging apps installed. It's nothing more frustrating when you get to a particular charger and you don't have the app on your phone, you've got to download it and what have you. So just a bit of planning ahead. Practice ABC, always be charging, and be flexible. This is me, and I actually got down to 0% up at the Sunshine Coast just after Christmas, and I ended up featuring in a Driven article by Giles Parkinson as a result of my experience. And it all ended up really well, but what I learned was I'd stayed in an apartment with my girlfriend on the Friday night, and I could have plugged in, just plugged in the normal PowerPoint overnight, but I didn't because I thought, it's fine. I'm driving to there tomorrow. I'll stop at Karoi. Anyway, next day, Karoi charger wasn't working. And then I thought, okay, well that's fine. I'm going to my friend's place, but I can get back to Noosa in the morning. I could have gone and topped up, but I just opted not to because I trusted the network. Anyway, next morning, go to Noosa. 2 chargers didn't work in Noosa, so there were up to 3 that didn't work, and I ended up being at 0% charge. But luckily, I ended up at a really lovely pub that had a destination Tesla charger that was broken. But they gave me a PowerPoint, which meant I ate some food, plugged in, had just enough charge to get myself to RACV at Noosa, where they have a stack of destination Tesla chargers. So I plugged in there, went to the beach with the kids for an hour, came back, and then had enough to get down to the lovely Oasis, which is Sunshine Plaza Tesla superchargers, where there's 4 of them and they all work and they're fast. And by the time we went and had some food and went to the bathroom and came back, the car was full. So always be charging.
And don't go past one.
Yeah. And I think that's me. Does anyone have any questions?
Insurances, we've got a performance line. There's not a lot of insurers that are insured. So so looking for them, you can't find one, go through whatever one just recommended, which is fine, but not much more yours.
Yeah, mine's not a performance, mine's the SR, which is plenty frustrating for me.
Who did you go through? Rolling, yeah. It's about $98 a month.
Not sure.
So
It was 113 a month.
Yeah, so this is performance. It's a performance minus, which was an option you can't buy anymore, but performance without the 20-inch wheels. But I shopped around a fair bit at the time when I bought it, and it was before most of them had Tesla in their books, so you had to ring them up. And I shopped around a bunch of them, but while I was on the phone for them, I also priced the BMW M3 as well, just as kind of curious what the sort of Tesla or new car kind of tax was, and it was a wash really. It was 10 or 15 bucks either way, so it's pretty good. This was one with RSEQ. I think a fair few of the normal insurers will cover them. But yeah, there's definitely with insurance, there is no substitute for ringing around. You can't take someone else's quote as meaningful to your situation. You as an individual have to do the legwork of ringing all of them and getting a bunch of prices, because you'll get quotes that are all over the shop that are 30-40% different, and someone else will ring up and the one that was 30% cheaper for you will be 30% more expensive for them, and they're 3 blocks away from you and the same car. Yes,
I'm with
makes no
NRA
sense.
and my quote for the same car changed in 2 days, but it was really good. It went down, it didn't go up. So yeah, that's the same circumstances, just different day of the week.
Do you find using the screen as a distraction?
No, because you don't actually ever need to touch the screen at all while you're driving. Everything that you need to drive the car's on the wheel. So no. But I do find that, for example, if I was so if you wanted to navigate somewhere, you can talk to it, you don't need to type. But if I am navigating somewhere and I've got kids in the car, I'll often just get them to do it. But no, I don't find it a distraction at all, because you don't need to look at it ever unless you sort of mention it.
The only terrifying thing about that, I don't use my car at all. The 12-volt battery is already in place, which is disconcerting, and the whole car doesn't even do anything. Nothing works.
Same as a petrol car. Nothing works if the battery doesn't work. But so
The car's 4 months old.
yeah, you've had a 4-month-old car. I've owned mine for 3.5 years, or 3 years, sorry, 3 years now. It's just about 3 years. Battery's still the same battery. So again, I guess if you Pareto that, if you put it on a curve, everybody's in a different spot, and there's people I've gone in, and there's vehicles out there, old S's that have been around for a while now that made 4 to 5 years on that same battery, and just spoke to it for 5 weeks or 5 months. And so I think there is various experiences across periods of time, and then to play that out. Both Luke and I are old auto electricians. How many times have we changed batteries on vehicles that are
12-volt batteries in all sorts of cars are random. Like you'll put a 12-volt battery in a car and it'll last 6 months, and the next one will last 6-10 years. They're renowned as garbage, and that's why Tesla don't have 12-volt batteries. Don't have lead-acid 12-volt batteries in the cars anymore. If you buy a new one today, it'll have a lithium battery. It'll last as long as the lithium battery in the base of the car. One quick interjection. Just walked away now. I'll see better attention, but I'll get the ladies doing the coffee to come in and just ask if anyone wants to take an order, and she can make it for you and bring it back. different.
Your trunk, sorry, I think you told me that we can install it for you, but can you know anyone who will install it?
Yes, he was going to be here today, but couldn't make it. Scooters EV Services does that sort of work.
Scooters, EV services.
Yeah, and they're in the business directory. If you go to our website, there's member benefits business directory. It'll ask you to log in, so you can't see that business directory is for members. So you need to log in before you see the business directory.
And what's it actually do?
Yeah, I have that question too.
It's exactly the same as the back, you know, with the back.
Oh, the bus?
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
it just makes it
Oh.
auto.
Okay.
oh,
So it just electrifies it. So
perfect.
They install a little button underneath the wheelset.
no, there's absolutely nothing you can see at all.
No.
Yeah.
So you can activate it from inside the way you can with the,
Yeah.
and you can activate it from your phone.
Okay. Voice activate? No.
No.
But,
No, just button activate.
Can I just ask about navigation? Okay. You were talking about one of your favourite things is the navigation. One of my favourite things is that it syncs with your calendar, which is perfect. But why does the navigation system talk to you sometimes and give directions and other times it doesn't?
That's an option. I have mine turned off all the time because
And I have mine turned on all the time, but today it never gave me directions to here. I had to keep reading it.
That's happened to me before too. I
Yeah.
just turn it back on. For whatever reason, sometimes something happens, so I just turn the volume back up.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if I accidentally did it, but at some point stuff happens.
Does,
Okay.
do
I
you
just
have
turn it
more
back
than
on.
one person and more than one profile in your car?
Yep, two of us.
Are you sure you're in the same profile?
Yes,
And it hasn't changed?
correct. Because
So
I can
it's
tell
a really
it's-
common issue that I've seen is that people have, they've set, like they say, oh, this setting keeps changing back and forth, and it's easy entry, it's different. You'll save it in easy entry, but then when you're actually driving, it'll be different and go back to the other
No, because
setting.
our seats are so different, I always know it's
Yeah,
me.
right.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I would talk to Tesla, log a
Okay.
ticket, which we'll cover later on.
Yeah.
How to get help and how to deal with service requests in the app and all that sort of stuff. Just making something up, you know.
Going back to
Setting up for
insurance.
judging.
Sorry?
Set up judging conversation.
Yeah.
I've got a few questions. Firstly, you were awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that should be acknowledged. You're really good at explaining it. I bought my car in December, Model 3 long range. But you were really good. Quick questions. $600 for insurance. FYI, I used the membership discount thing and I contacted a broker on the Gold Coast. He shopped it all around. Because I haven't got time to spend 5 hours talking to freaking insurance companies.
Oh, yeah.
So I rang him and he put me on some deal. I forget what it was, but it saved me $300 or $400. I go through Suncorp. If the car gets hit bad, what do they call it, write-off, in the first 3 years, as long as I stay paying my premium with Suncorp, then they'll give me a new car. So, I know it takes a long time to get, but that's a different thing.
Well,
next one.
actually, they don't give you a new car after 12 weeks with Suncorp. If the new car's not available within 12 weeks, they pay out the current value of the new car.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Next one was, when you go, I just went out to Cyril Lane this morning, winery just up the road, and there was 2 cars there
You started
charging.
early?
Yeah, I only had 2 bags of wine. That's fine. But there were 2 people charging. How do I know how long they're going to be?
You don't.
Yeah. Is there any
And
way?
I think it's probably a very good segue into kicking off Robert's talk about charging.
Yes, I've got a bit specifically about that.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
It's a really good question.
And the other one was carrying a key. Does anyone carry their card key, or is everyone using their phone?
I
Just in
do.
case.
I
Yeah,
have one in my wallet because sometimes,
The
I don't know,
phone app,
it's
like
just handy to
if you break your phone,
Yes.
you're out and about.
You're running out of charging your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And occasionally my car too will ask me to put the card on
Yes.
the centre piece.
Well, I've just
Even
been
though
using my
phone's
phone
on
for 5 or 6 months, or bigger than I better just have it back up.
No, I carry the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my last quick question was, does anyone use the $3 boost to make your car go faster? Is it much faster?
I put it last year today.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and what percentage would you say?
Huh?
What percentage would you say goes quicker?
It goes like,
Would you say it's 10% quicker, 20%? Do you really feel it when you...
no, you feel difference. I think if you really want to have a faster car, yeah, do it. Like, I'm sure a lot of people who...
Apparently you can pay for it and you get 48 hours to cancel it.
It's a lot, yes.
So I'm thinking
Only
just to do
once.
it. Yeah, I'm thinking
Just
just to do it,
You
play
can
with
have
it
40
for a
hours to
night.
play around with it, and then you get a full refund if you don't want it, but next time you buy it, you'll lose that.
Yep.
You won't have that
Yeah,
for a period
okay.
anymore.
Only for all-wheel drive
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
It's
Only
not for
for
rear-wheel drive or
long
performance,
range,
it's just for the mid-range.
Yeah,
all-wheel
that's
drive.
which is what I've got, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hand over to Roy, we'll talk about charging.